Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there today? It is Monday once again, here on Movement Monday with Ray and Ryan. I'm Ryan. This is my buddy Ray. So, my friend Ray, you
Yes,
had
sir.
another big weekend, and I was sad that I couldn't work it out to join you again. But tell us what you did.
I did my second Tough Mudder this weekend. And for those that are not familiar with the Tough Mudder, the version that I did is a 15K, so just over 9 miles. I'm not exactly sure how many obstacles it is, but I think it's about 30 obstacles, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So it's a little bit different than the Spartan race that we did a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago. In that this one is more of an endurance and mental challenge than the strength challenge like we did in the Spartan race. And so, um, I've done this one once before. I thought that I knew what to expect, and I probably should have done a little bit more research because there was different obstacles than there was last year, and I was a little surprised by a couple of them, but not too terribly surprised. So, it was similar stuff, but just different. So a little bit
That's good.
different course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew a couple other people that also ran it that I talked to today, and I think the biggest one was the I don't remember. It's the ice bath. I don't know what they call it. They have a fun name
The
for it, but
Arctic Enema.
yes, that it
Yeah.
was a little more similar to the dunk wall that we did in the Spartan.
Yeah. Um, I have to admit that I had to bypass that one. So Casey and I both bypassed it. So Casey, who we ran with last week in the Spartan race, she came down with a bit of a cold earlier in the week last week. So she had told me even going into it, when we get to that, I'm not going to do it. I have a half marathon next weekend. I'm not trying to get myself sick. I need to be able to train, and just putting myself in the cold weather already. It's just not a wise decision. And that's her choice. It was very much of a that makes a lot of sense. I'd probably do the same thing. Um, so I waited in line for it, and yeah, there was a line to there's a line to jump in and submerge yourself in 32-degree water. So, um, and just watching it, and I had full intentions on doing it until I jumped in the water, and it was like super cold, and I must have had a look on my face like, what the heck? Because the volunteer that was there, I jumped in, and I don't think I was in there for 10 seconds. He goes, "Are you okay?" I said, "I don't think I'm doing this one." so so I jumped in, but I just could not bring myself to submerge my head under the wall to swim under the ice water. It was, it was, I think, either the second or third to the last, and then it was just so cold out already. Um, and because we had waited in line for it, the temperature, the body temperature had a chance to cool down, so it wasn't like it was a relief or anything. So maybe I don't know if I was still hyped up from running, I might have been able to do it, but definitely, if it was very much of a maybe if it was warmer out, maybe if it was, there's different things, and or maybe next time I'll do it if I'm more prepared. It just I don't feel like I was fully prepared for it. I did happen to be right, right at the same time of another Orange Theory member, and I kind of watched to see, and him and his buddy both got through it, and I was like, ah, shucks. so so it was more of a, well, but then I saw people coming out, and like they could not move enough to get themselves thawed out from how cold that water was. And so it's a mental challenge. I'm fine coming up to my chest on that ice, but dunking my head was just more than I could bring myself to do this past weekend. So
Yeah,
you
I
know,
thought that was an interesting twist
yeah,
when I heard about that. So,
yeah.
what other different obstacles did they have? Because we didn't really know last year we both ended up running it, but we did it at different times and found out afterwards that, hey, we both just did this.
Yeah. They had, so the Augustus Gloop is one that I had seen leading up to it last year, but I didn't really think that we got the true meaning of what it was, because last year they had the big black tubes that you crawled up, and the water was kind of shooting down, but then you had to trust fall basically back into an ice pit. They didn't have that this year. This year they had, it was a tube made out of netting, and there's water shooting straight down on you, and you have to climb up the netting, like, so cargo netting, up about, about 10 feet, and fight pretty much the water coming up. But you have to jump into a pit first, get yourself into the tube, and then climb up and climb out. And so that was another one that there was a backup there. We had ran for, I'm going to say, probably better part of a mile right before that. So it was like, all right, cool. But we stood there for so long that it got cold. It got to the point where we had to start moving to try to keep ourselves warm. So, but that one wasn't nearly as, it looked like it might be a little hard. And because, the netting, it's cargo netting. So you're trying to figure out how to get your feet in there. But it ended up not being as hard for me as I anticipated waiting in line for it. So I was pretty grateful for that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Also heard there was, or seemed like there was a lot more running involved this year. Like there maybe weren't as many obstacles, or they were spread out much further than what we did last year.
So, and I don't know if it just happened to be because we did the Spartan race last weekend, and then this weekend I kind of had a different mentality of how it was. But we did the sprint for the Spartan race, which, looking at the course, we could easily see that that all the obstacles are bunched up, so that way anybody doing the shorter distance still had all the obstacles. And I feel like there was some of that set up in this as well, because a good majority of the obstacles were bunched up at the end. Casey, again, training for her half marathon next weekend, was skipping a training day for running. So she was very clear to me of, I've ran with you. We've done a relay. We've done a half marathon. I know you can run. So I need to get my running in. So we're going to run a lot. And I'm like, okay. So, and we ran a lot. I mean, but again, we probably ran more than I would have if I was by myself or with somebody that wasn't a runner. But I appreciate the push, and I'm grateful that I ran, and it's probably why I'm a little bit more sore today than I expected to be. So, yeah, I do. I don't know if it was more running than it was last time. I know that I ran more this time than I did last year, just based off of, it was just me and her. We didn't have as much of a team to try to keep up with or to, wait for anybody or anything. So, and last year was the first event that I've ever done where her and I were both at the same event. And so we didn't really know each other. She didn't know what I was capable of. And so this year, because we've done a handful of the same events, she's like, well, I know you're capable, so we're just going to go. And I was like, okay, fine. So, double-edged sword there, but but it was fun.
That's good. That's good. So it was much cooler, probably a little wetter, I think, this year too than it was when we ran it last year, which makes a big difference, especially in those water obstacles. They still have a lot of the like climbing on stuff, and if you don't get across, you fall in.
There was, and so the challenge with that this time is because they were wet and because we were more muddier, it made the obstacles that much more challenging. And for me mentally, I almost felt like I used it as an excuse because I knew that there was no way of holding on. Like, last week I got through the monkey bars. It wasn't, I wouldn't say easily, but I got through it. I got through the challenge. On this past course, I could only get through 2 monkey bars before my hands completely slipped off. It wasn't that I didn't have the strength to hold on. It was, there's just no, there's just nothing to hold on to because it's so slippery. And then there was one that they had last year similar where you hit the rings and then you go to a bar and then back to the rings.
Mhm.
Last year I was able to get to the bar. This year I couldn't even get past the second ring because it was so slippery, and
Wow.
you fall right into the water. So you're not really helping anything. You go back and try it again, you're more wet than you were before. So
Yeah.
um, so and it didn't really start raining on us, but it had rained earlier in the day, and it was muddier out because of the rain coming and going. It wasn't until about the second to the last obstacle that it actually started raining on us. So, and then that just happened to be right about the time that we were hitting that ice Arctic enema. So it was like, yeah.
Yeah. So then, if obviously much wetter this year, how was the electricity there at the end?
So so we'll go back to the first electricity one. Um,
Oh,
there
that's
was a
right. I forgot they
bar.
had two.
Yeah, so the army crawl where you have to army crawl with the electricity. Um, I we did that last year, and I'm like, I can get through this. It's fine. Well, they added a bar in the middle that I thought you just had to lift it up and go under. I thought it was an excuse to get you to lift your head up or whatnot, and not realizing it was actually electrified. I kept touching it and trying to move it, and I'm like, ow. Finally I said, why am I getting shocked? And the volunteer next to me, he goes, stop touching the pole. It's electrified. I said, oh. So once I figured
Oh,
that out, I got through that. But I mean, it was kind of cool that they added an extra challenge to that because I didn't expect it. I thought I got this, and then went in and managed to electrocute myself. The one at the very end, I got through it without getting shocked at all. Um,
oh,
Casey wasn't so lucky. She got shocked 4 times, and she said one of them like almost took her out. So
wow.
yeah, and so I was very grateful that I didn't know that she got shocked until we were completely done, because it probably, when somebody's getting shocked that bad, you approach it differently. I
Yep.
kind of went through it like I did last year with, if I just try to edge through them, I'll get through it, and I did all right. I didn't, if I did get shocked at that point, I didn't feel anything, but I also have about 4 bruises that I don't know where they came from either. So. Uh,
We always seem to find those after doing these races. You're like
Very much
showered and
so, yeah.
cleaned up and daily. Where did that come from? When did that happen?
No, I've got like a purple one on my side, and I don't even. I'm trying to think of where that would have came from or how it got there, and I I all I could think of is I got pinched, but because it's
Huh.
just like about the size of a berry, um, but it's a dark bruise. So
Huh.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, because a lot of those, I mean, even like that, you would think I should have felt that
yeah,
at some point to know that, oh, okay, this happened then. But yeah, it always happens. You're all of a sudden you're like, where did that come from? I don't even remember. And
yeah.
it's a bruise like that big on.
Well, I mean, I have, I don't know if yeah, you can see that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, and that one I didn't know where that was at either. But the one on my side, which is weird because it doesn't hurt. It's not tender like a bruise or anything. It's just purple.
Huh.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Good times, good times.
yeah.
So what's next on Ray's race agenda?
I, and I'm just reflecting now that this is done. I know that I had, these 2 races back to back coming up, and it was kind of like, a lot of anticipation getting into these things. And, coming up to the end of the year, I don't want to completely fall off, but we have, Orange Theory has Hell Week in October every year. So that'll be a challenge within itself. But I know for sure I'm probably going to do at least one 5K with Cruz. If, at least a turkey trot. Might try to see if we can do one in October too, but see where we're at because with his soccer schedule and whatnot. Um, so I think I'm gonna just take it mellow through the rest of the year, and maybe do a Santa run or something like that. Just something fun for him, just to get us a couple more runs in. I want to make sure that I don't go too long without having another run with him.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. No polar plunge in the on the calendar.
Well, taking my experience with the obstacle that I couldn't even get in, I just don't know that I'm quite cut out for that yet. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, if you did it and you were like, you should come do it, I probably would join you. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
how about you? What do you got coming up?
Nothing like you. I know they have a turkey trot 5K that I'm sure I'll do again this year. Um, I know a bunch of people from the gym. We all got together and ran it last year. I'm sure we'll do that again.
Mm,
Um, but beyond that, I don't know much until kind of next summer. I know doing the Spartan race with you, I hadn't done one in a couple of years, and now I've like caught that obstacle course race bug again. So I'm thinking about signing up to do the trifecta weekend next year. So I'll do all 3 races in one weekend.
nice.
Um, do that, and then I'd like to get on board and do the Tough Mudder with you again.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
I enjoy that race. Even though it was cold this year, it wasn't so enjoyable in the cold that I like. It's not like I wouldn't do it again. And so it was, you know, granted, it's more enjoyable when it's warm out, but it was still fun. I mean, and fun's a relative word, but
yeah. Yeah.
I, I'll tell you, when Casey and I got done, we were so cold and ready to go that we skipped our free beer. That's how
Oh
ready
wow.
we were to go. Yeah. so, so it was like, well, she said, well, how interested are you in having a beer right now? I said, I could do without. She says, I have beer at home. I'll have one myself when I get home. So,
Yeah.
so it was an easy decision for both of us to be like, this is not worth it to stand out here and be freezing somewhere, and um, we couldn't thaw out on the way home. It was just we were just cold.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you had a good experience. I think
yeah,
I was thinking about you guys, and I knew some other people that were doing it too. So I was like, kind of just like got that itch all day because I was like, I want to be there with them, but it just didn't work out this year. But next year we're gonna plan better and make it happen.
yeah. And I think that made a big difference for me personally, because last year we had 6 people that ran it all together. All from Orange Theory, and this year it was just me and Casey. Nobody else wanted to join back in, and so. She had said, it looks like it's going to be just me and you. Is that cool? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, Casey's a good motivator, so I enjoyed. She doesn't let you slump. So, um, but that was it is it is more fun to do it with a bigger group of people. And then I was surprised because I ran into 2 people that I knew, or one person that I knew that did it. I ran into them on the course. It was, how random is that? It was another Orange Theory member from Federal Way Orange Theory, and so and then a buddy of mine sends me a picture later. He says, "Well, we were going through pictures, and somehow we have a picture of you. We didn't even know you were at the race." So it was kind of neat. So another, 3 of my buddies did it, and then I know a girl that I work with at Bloodworks. She messaged me this morning and asked how it went, and sent me a couple of her pictures from the race as well. So you know,
Awesome.
I, I think if I had tried a little bit harder, I could have put together a bigger team and had a little bit more of a support squad. But that does make a difference in having building that team. Just for me anyway, just the push.
Oh,
Like I said,
absolutely.
yeah. And Casey did push me to run, like I said, but it was cold. So and yeah,
Yeah, I know the very first Spartan race I did. I think I told you this story. I did it by myself. It was just like I saw it and I was like, "Oh, that looks fun." So I just went and did it by myself. But all of them that I've done since then, I've always done with somebody, with a group
Mhm.
of people. And like you said, it's a lot more fun when you have a group. You can laugh and enjoy each other and push each other and pull each other and
Yeah,
you know make fun of them when they do something silly, and they make fun of you at the same time. So it's all good. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's always a lot more fun when you have more people there.
Well, in comparing the two, we had one guy in the Tough Mudder that was clearly like he has done these a few times, and he was clearly one that was there for because they preach very much of a this is we're here for everybody. Everybody's a team. You look out for everybody else. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they tell you how to identify somebody that's struggling, how to say you're struggling, and whatnot. But they have the mud mile where it's I think 3 or 4 pits that you jump in, then have to climb out on the mud and then jump back in. And trying to climb out on the mud, there's nothing to grip onto. It's slippery. It's mud. You need the support of other people. And this guy is sitting there, and he sat there for I'm going to say the better part of 5-10 minutes maybe, and he's just hoisting people up and telling them how to get. And so finally, we go through and there's the Mudderhorn, which is like 20 stories up or whatever that is, climbing on the. But to get to that, there's that 10-foot wall that you're supposed to figure out how to get up. And he's again sitting there at the front of that, and he's just telling people how and like full on giving him step by step. Here's how I'm going to get you up there, but you have to listen to me. And so he got his back up against the wall sitting, tells you step on my thigh right here, bring the other one up, get your balance, and now step on my shoulder and step up. And like I watched him do it I was one of the people, but I watched him do it for 4 people. And then and he was still there when I went up and over, and I'm like, well, I don't know that I'm capable of doing that like him, but I'm super grateful for people like that make those races that much more enjoyable and that much more achievable. So, in the Spartan race, it's very much of an individual. You don't have to have that much support to get through the obstacles, but it is my goal to be stronger next year for the Spartan than I was this year, and to be able to I have now a foundation set of what better is. So I don't know that I'm going to do the trifecta because, but I've got to take a baby step and finish all the steps in these ones first. So yeah.
Well, I have no doubt you'll get there. You'll no doubt in my mind. You'll be able to finish them all next year.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm sorry, not changing up my routine starting this week, where I'm starting to work on more upper body strength and making sure that I can not I have the strength to get through all of those and not let strength be the reason why I can't do anything. So
yeah. It's all good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to chat about tonight?
I don't think so. I think that's good. I'm glad that you're saying that you're planning on being at the Tough Mudder next year, because it would have been awesome to have you there on the team with us. So I'm looking forward to having that next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, that whole day I was just like, had that itch. It was like, God, I want to be there. But so
good deal.
Yeah, definitely putting it on the calendar for next year.
Awesome. Wrapping it up. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, give us a shout out. We'd appreciate it. Give us a comment, give us a like here as well. Let us know if there's something that you'd like for us to talk about. If you'd like to join us, you have movement and nutrition is something that you're passionate about, we'd love to have you. Once again, Ryan and I are both promoters for Innovative Posh. So we have a line of vitamin patches, as well as self-care products, bath bombs, skincare, shaving products, whatnot. We have all that stuff available. If you're interested in knowing more about that, please reach out to either one of us. If you'd like to know how you can save yourself some money or earn some money and become a promoter, we have information on that as well. Let us know. Other than that, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you all next time.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care.